Hey guys and gals of YouTube, Mr. Drain Doc here with my final video of Unfinished and Artist's Lament. I just wanted to capture just some game footage only to see. I was just testing mainly for myself, but also just to see if this game in its entirety can be accomplished in 10 minutes or less, and I believe I have done that. This is just actually some gameplay that you are viewing now. I did edit out the areas where you go to select the levels on the artist's desktop or desk.
No,
Yes, I did.
no,
And
no.
it's because I just didn't want to, because that, to me, that's not gameplay. When you're having to, flip through the different chapters or the different levels to get to. I just mainly concentrated on the actual gameplay itself, just to see how long it would take me. One other thing that I sort of ruled out, because this video is approximately about 12 minutes 30 seconds, give or take a minute or two, but
No.
the actual, like I say, the actual gameplay time in the different little levels, I actually completed the entire game in less than 10 minutes. The part, I believe it is level 4, the fourth level, where the artist is just all dialogue. He's having a discussion with his boss, and his boss is upset. His boss, I guess, doesn't like all the stuff that he came up with, and he quit, or he was upset. And we saw all those different pictures and drawings that he got from other people, and that is a little more than a 3-minute dialogue, so that cuts in a lot of time. I mean, that's a lot of time to
Reality check. Weeks. Right.
to be taken up,
How long
from
ago
the
were we
actual
supposed to
trying to
finish
get
this?
through the game as fast as you possibly can. And I probably could actually even do it faster. There were a couple moments during, I think, a couple of the levels where I actually, for myself, I felt like I screwed up. I could have done it a little bit faster, a little bit better, but I just said the hell with it, just keep going. And so yeah, I just wanted to see if it was possible. Anyone who gets through this game the first time in under 30 minutes, I doff my chapeau to you, kind sir and or madam, because you're the shit. Because for whatever reason, I guess I just overthought this game. Something that should have been so basic and simple, and there are parts of it that just, like I said, I was just overthinking. It was almost too simple, and my mind wasn't thinking that way. All I could think about was, puzzly type things like Limbo, for instance. And Limbo is like in a whole other stratosphere compared to this game. I mean, it's not even, you can't even talk about it in the same sentence like I currently am. But yeah, that's a whole different thing. But not to say I didn't enjoy this game. I enjoyed it pretty well. It was just, until you know what the mechanics are, what the controls are, how to get it to work. I'm sure if you used a gamepad with it on the PC, instead of using it through the mouse and the keyboard, that might make a difference too, in maybe not necessarily compatibility, but just making it easier to switch from different things, because it's not easy using the keyboard for it at all. It's like at times I'll keep jamming the buttons to, like, switch the different you know, what am I trying to think of? The different abilities that you find, like this one right here with the magnet, and switching those. I'll be jamming the buttons because you're supposed to, from what I have found at least, you're supposed to jam the arrow keys and 1, 2, or 3, depending on, you know, which one you're selecting, simultaneously when you're using the keyboard to get it to where they don't always. It doesn't always work. I'm jamming it. I'll try one, then the other, and then the other, and then I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work. But anyway, I would just, like I say, I keep repeating myself, but I just wanted to see, you know, if I could actually now that I know how the game operates, what you're supposed to do, it sure does make it a hell of a lot easier, like it is with any game, I guess. But at first, this game, I mean, it just, I don't know, it just took me for a loop. It took me for a ride. It took me for a ride that wasn't there to be had. There was no ride. I took my own ride that was completely 100% unnecessary. This was like overthinking at its finest. I mean, so it's like I almost hope that there's a part 2 to it, or a follow-up to it. How your character, whatever his name is, because he doesn't have a name, so that sort of leads me to believe that maybe there will be a second one of these. And in fact, as I'm speaking, here's the part I was speaking of, the level 4, about there's no way to get beyond his dialogue. It's not like you can push escape or enter or spacebar, or you must sit through the artist's dialogue on level 4. And that's over 3 minutes long. From the very beginning of the time he starts speaking when you enter the level until you finally get out of the level. That's a considerable amount of time. So I did not count that time towards, because there's nothing that you have to do in this level other than listen. That's it. I mean, I guess you could look around at the lovely paintings and pictures, but anyways, I have analyzed and overanalyzed. This is what, now part 6 of Unfinished: An Artist's Lament, which is probably 100 million infinity% asinine in every way, shape, or form. But leave it to me, I guess. I mean, talk about whipping a dead horse. I mean, it's... I got all out of it I could possibly get out of it, so try to read into things that just were not there, and I don't know, maybe this is like the setup to the creator of the game, you know, like he's making this one sort of like there's something you're supposed to do but you're not supposed to do, and he lulls you into like it's, you know, not supposed to be harder than it is, or it isn't, or... And then he'll make a second game, and it will be actually that hard. He'll do like the reverse. Like, it looks like you're not supposed to do anything, and then you're supposed to, you know, discover the square root of 55,269,702.
Because no one will hire them.
Which I have no idea what that is.
Because they don't need it,
but yeah.
Even though... the stuff is
a part of the game was extremely frustrating for me.
No, you listen.
But like I think I said in my part 2 video, which was on level, that might have been part 3. I don't know. I have so many frickin' parts on this game. Like I say, it's just asininely ridiculous. Whatever part it was on level 2. And like I say, I found the trash bin in like 5 seconds of entering the game. I just went where the guys were walking, and I just kept going. I was like, well, I'll just keep going. But I just thought, after I went that and it went to the 3rd level, I just thought to myself, well, there's something that I'm missing. There's got to be something on that level that I'm going to need further into the game. There just has to be. There's no way that level is just that basic that easy.
You would
There's
think
just
that
no way.
Not having a job would be.
Well,
more
it turns out it was just that basic and that easy, and you didn't need anything else. But not knowing that, like I say, I didn't record
just good, honest labor.
that portion, but I spent probably the better half of 2 hours
No worries about
searching level 2.
Think about that.
As absolutely idiotic
People I knew would be disappointed.
and asinine as that may sound, that's exactly what I did, because I was convinced there was something there that had to be gotten to continue the game, or not continue it to be able to finish it, but continue it with like something special, like you couldn't get through this certain door without it, or you gotta, you know, just something like that. Like it might have been, you know, not to the point to where you couldn't literally finish the game, but I mean, not to that degree, but just something else, or some kind of hidden gem, or no. There was nothing. Thank God I spared you all of that extra 2 hours of just me searching. So anyway, this has been Mr. Draindoc's utter moronic attempt at Unforgiven, an Artist's Lament. And if there is a second one, I sure hope it's not as confusing to my feeble little mind as this. And it's so funny. The funniest thing of all is I blew through Limbo pretty quickly. That's the part that I don't... That's the part that just blows my mind about this game. It makes me feel like such an idiot. Anyway, guys, I'll just leave you with the end of this video, and thanks for bearing with me through all this game footage of probably one of the most basic, easiest games that have ever been made, and I made it a billion infinity times harder than it needed to be. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. We'll catch you down the road in some more videos next time. Take care. Thanks again. Bye bye.